Hello there. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and this is my dog Charlie. And he just insisted on getting on my lap. So, what could I do? Anyway, tonight I'm going to be talking about a kind of important and timely topic, and it's timely all the time, really, which is let me come back to real challenges that we are not ready for but need to face anyway. What do we do? So, I'd like to start out by talking about the kinds of things that we do. For instance, we deny that they're happening. I mean, that's a big thing. No, the administration isn't turning into a police state. So that couldn't possibly be happening, right? So I think I'll take a nap. Or I do seem to be aging and getting more feeble, but nah, not me. This is just, I'm having a bad day. Or my husband's getting dementia. Or, anything. Or I'm getting Parkinson's. Or my daughter is a drug addict. And so on. Now, these are challenges. These are not easy things to deal with, but we have to deal with them. And what happens if we go into denial is that we don't deal with them. I'm going to give you the example of cognitive impairment. There are programs and protocols that can help reverse cognitive impairment. I'm sure not in every case and not 100%, but we've been using one that's really working well for us by Dr. Dale Bredesen. And it's a program that you have to go through. There's supplements, there's a diet, there's exercise, and there's brain training and all of that. So you have to face the fact that you have the problem. And then you say, is there anything that I can do about this to improve the situation? If you don't face it, you can't do anything about it. And that's the number one thing we do is we go into denial because we just, I can't. And I don't blame you. I feel exactly the same way. I want to, and it's not always easy, even when you're not in denial and you're saying, okay, I see this, and like, all right, who are the experts? And now you try to find an expert who's going to make everything okay, and they don't exist. And we have situations like that. So not easy, not easy. Okay, so if we're not in denial, some of us will just throw in the towel. We know what's happening, but we just say, oh, I can't do anything about it. Well, maybe you can't, and maybe you can. So if the maybe you can is even a possibility, then try. Other people will go in a slightly different direction. They'll say, I can lick this easily. Well, maybe you can, and maybe you can't. I mean, and you may have some others. And when we bring on my guests, because this is Lighting the Way with Beth Green and friends, and our panel will be coming on in a few minutes after I finish talking and kind of introducing the topic. And maybe they've got others kinds of things that they do. I would I would call my mother if I could, but my mother has been dead for such a long time that that's not going to work. Okay, so these are challenges, and I'm not ready to face them. Okay, I'm not. I don't want to know. It's too hard, and all of that. And we can see that all of these maladaptive ways of dealing with them get us nowhere. So, what's left? And this is something that I want to talk about right now. I say to myself, and this is what I try to do, and by the way, this isn't always successful either. because some of us are too impaired to even get honest about what's going on with us. And it happens. Age happens, illness happens, death happens. I say to myself, I am strong. I am stronger than I think. Now, am I stronger than I think? Am I strong? Maybe not. We have a Daniel who said, yo, well, yo, back to you, Daniel. Maybe I am strong, maybe I'm not strong. But one thing I know is that if I tell myself I'm too weak, I will be too weak. You can't tell yourself that you cannot face this. You know, you might be able to get away with that for a short while. But then you either have to face it or you're going down. So if you say to yourself, I'm stronger than I think, maybe you begin to believe it. You know, maybe it opens up the door for you to think of, well, what could I do? What should I do? What is the possibility? And you know, even when you're trying, there are not always simple answers. In fact, usually there are no simple answers. And you'll notice that Charlie is still sitting on my lap. I hope he hasn't disturbed anybody yet on the out there in the audience. So anyway, um, I have to say I am stronger than I think. And I can face this. I can face this because the first step to dealing with challenges that seem overwhelming, impossible, is to face that they are real. That is the first step. Without that, there is no second step. And so I have to reassure myself that I am strong enough, at least to face it, maybe not to beat it. Maybe I have cancer and maybe I have a weak system and I won't be able to beat it, but at least I will face it and make plans. Oh, maybe I should make that will or that deal with things that have to be dealt with, or maybe I really should stop eating sugar, or you know, maybe there are some treatments that I can try and research I can do. So I start with that. I start with I am stronger than I think, and then I ask myself, okay, looks like Charlie, do you want to get down? Say hi to the folks. Would you say hi to the folks before I put you down? Okay. So, okay, honey, there you go. Now, one of the collective issues, oh, here's another one, global warming. It's overwhelming. I can't think about it. I can't do anything about it. Or I'm hysterical. It's hopeless. It's lame. Global warming? What global warming? There's no global, it's a hoax, a Chinese hoax, right? And so it's not just us. I mean, we can, when we have social problems, my God, you know, then there's millions of us who are in denial or pretending that we can't do anything about it or don't want to know. And boy, you think it's bad to try to deal with yourself. Why don't you deal with the millions? We have to face the truth, no matter how unpleasant. Charlie, would you please stop? He is now ripping up the carpet. Okay, and there is our friend Jeffrey. Hi there. Thanks. We have all kinds of good, uh, happy icons from Jeffrey. So, Jeffrey, I hope you heard what I've been talking about up to this point. So, let's take a look at okay, global warming. As we've been talking about, it is overwhelming. It is terrible. It is happening. And we can each do our part, but we can also pressure our government to do its part, which our government right now is going backwards about global warming. It's like, oh, drill, baby, drill. And let's pollute some more and let's cut down the forest and let's do all of that. So then we have to deal with that. Is that something that I wish were happening? No, that's a challenge that, oh no, I can't face it. But all right, so some people are going to take on that challenge and other people are going to take on other challenges. Today, actually, I think it may have been yesterday, there was an interview with our current president. And he said, I'm sure you all know about the Abrego Garcia case, this Salvadoran who was returned to El Salvador, he wasn't supposed to, saying that he's part of a gang and all of that, picked up with the Venezuelans. And the Supreme Court said that our president is supposed to facilitate his return to the United States because he was deported by accident. Well, he's been saying, no, I can't. I really can't because, he can't. Of course he can't. It's a challenge that he can't face. Well, what came out in the latest interview is he said, yeah, I could, but I don't want to. So we're dealing with a 2-year-old, I don't want to. Have you had a 2-year-old that you like, oh, I don't want? Well, that's what's happening. And he's saying, which means that he's actually defying the Supreme Court of the United States, among other things, all kinds of police state actions. Now, can I face this that our president is defying the Supreme Court? Is the Supreme Court going to face this? While I'm diddling around worrying about this or that or the other thing, uh, Jeffrey said the J6, the January 6th felon doesn't care about the environment. You are so darn right. And doesn't care about rights. He doesn't care about the Constitution, doesn't care about the rule of law. He only cares about his own little narcissistic, petty self looking big. In fact, now he's entertaining becoming Pope. I don't know if you've heard this, but uh, so, but don't panic. But don't go into denial. But don't say, oh no, I can't do anything about this. Or don't go crazy. And that's what we've been talking about for weeks now. Don't go crazy, stay calm, stay centered, organize, mobilize, take a look at what we have to do. But the first thing is we have to admit that we've already gone over a line where there are armed men breaking into people's homes without warrants. And there was this poor woman in Oklahoma. The story is that I can't remember, 10 agents with guns came in and they were looking for it was the wrong person. And they took, yeah, Jeffrey said, yeah, he cares about money and himself. You bet, Jeffrey. And so they terrorized this poor woman and her children. They made them go out in the rain in their underwear as they trashed the home and stole their cash, their phones, and all of that. And nobody knows really who it is because first they said they were the FBI and they were the marshals and they were ICE, and now the FBI and the marshals say, oh, we don't know anything about that. We weren't even there. So, but of course, they never showed any badges. So, how would this poor woman know? So, I mean, what does that sound like to you? You know, so we're seeing this and it's happening right in front of our faces. Now, if we are going to be calm and we are going to say, we are stronger than we think, we have a fighting chance. If we go into, oh no, I'm so scared. That's no different from pretending your daughter isn't a drug addict or that you're having cognitive impairment or that your health is in the toilet or any of those other things. Do you see the point that I'm making? It's all the same. It is absolutely all the same. You say to yourself, we're stronger than we think. And we start to, if we haven't already been doing it, mobilizing, pulling out different tactics depending on the situation. For example, if you are having cognitive impairment, you don't give yourself bicarbonate of soda, which is for stomach upset, right? You have to pull out the right tool for the job at the time. So the right tool may be pressuring your congressperson. The right tool may be a sit-in. The right tool may be a demonstration. The right tool might be um, sit-ins, protests. The right tool may be articles of impeachment. The right tool may be civil disobedience. I don't know. You see, we have to be aware of what the challenge is in order to pull out the right tool at the right time. And that means we have to be looking at the resources that we do have. What have I got? What have I got? What have we collectively got in order to fight something that we don't want to deal with, that we think is terrible, that we wish wasn't there? So at this point, I am going to bring on my friends. And let me see. There we go. So, number one, I'm bringing on Lizzie Treehart.
Hello.
Wonderful. We hear you perfectly, Lizzie.
Yay.
Todd Benton.
I'm here too.
Okay. We don't hear you very loud. At least I don't.
I don't
Okay,
either.
I will
Oh,
turn
yeah.
it up.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that
That's
better?
better.
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay.
right. Boom in. Maybe. And here is James Maynard.
Hello, hello. Glad to be here.
And here are the friends tonight. So, first of all, can you relate to this on a personal level, on a societal level? Do you do any of these things? And where do you stand on this rather important topic? Yes, James.
Well, I'd like to start on my one of my main ones, which is aging. I'm now 80 years old. I'm about to turn 81.
No,
And yet
no.
my favorite mantra has always been, I still got it. I still got it. Got what? I can't run the 50-yard dash like I used to. I can't remember things like I used to. I'm not as quick as I used to, and I was never that quick anyway. My memory isn't what it used to be. And I had an interesting experience today driving on the highway. And I used to be like a young Turk, says, king of the road. I pass these cars, I'm a race car driver or whatever. Says, no, no, I'm a senior citizen. I've got to slow down. I can't keep trying to be that. And I started to try to be that today. And my wife sitting in the seat next to me says, I'm feeling tension. I'm feeling tension. Oh, I guess I got all tensed up, didn't I? So you mean this isn't a race? So I had to slow down and say, wait a minute, come on. Why don't you drive your age? So I got more relaxed, let myself drive 55, 60 miles an hour. And I still got there in good order. And I felt more relaxed and I enjoyed the trip more.
Yay. There you go. I'm sure there are a lot of other challenges that go with aging that you don't want to face.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, are you telling us that you've been in denial? Is that your thing?
Oh, yeah. I've been in denial on a lot of things. Cognitive impairment, too. It took me a long time to confess that even when I was a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, I couldn't fill out the forms right. Something's, but I still kept thinking, oh no, I can do this. I can do this. And it kept getting kicked back by the clerk, getting kicked back by the clerk. Says, well, I got to admit, I'm not as sharp as I used to be in this field. I got to consider shifting gears. And so that was another one.
That's very good. So there is an example of denial that you've turned around and say to
Yeah.
yourself, because this is so empowering. You're saying, I am stronger than I think.
Yeah. I'm stronger than I think and wiser than I thought so that I can act appropriate, age appropriate.
Yeah. And even, you see, this is such a great example because if you have cognitive impairment, you can be wise about it or be stupid about it, at least in the early stages. And what I mean by that, you can say, I really can't do this anymore. I think I'm going to turn this over to my wife or my accountant or my children, or I see myself decline. Oh, and as I mentioned, there are things you can do for cognitive impairment, and we've been doing it. Oh, maybe I've been sloppy. So actually, we do have resources within ourselves up to the point that we don't have any. and to face whatever it is that's ailing us. So thank you for sharing that, James. That was very helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And who would like to share next? Okay. Lizzie?
I'll go. I'm not sure what to say.
Well, what do you do when you face challenges that you don't want to face?
Well, I have some patterns of going weak,
Mm-hmm.
but I also have patterns of when there's something that I have to face and, I just have to go into it. I do have an inner strength that I know is there. So I know I do have strength. And when those happen, I feel like I do have more strength than what I think I do. And those are more like in the moment, okay, you got to do something, do it now. I don't want to wait to that point.
Yeah.
Although we kind of are in that situation right now as far as what's going on in this country.
By the way, somebody somewhere is making a bunch of noise that I'm picking up. And so can you, if it's on your side, could you ask the person, just tell them that you're on and that your microphone is on? And could they wait?
Maybe Todd could go next.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back. Thank you. Yes, Todd.
How about all of the above? Is that an answer?
That is a perfect answer.
Because it's pretty much, running has been one of my things when things get challenging. One of them is just throwing myself at it for hours and days until I figure it out. That's not always effective either.
Because there's no calm in that.
Right. There's
There's
just like
no thought
anxiety,
in that.
anxiety until I overpower the issue. So those are a couple of my go-tos. You want to hear more? I'm sure that's not all. Staying up late, that goes along with driving myself to get the thing done.
Yeah.
So they tend to be more more force than running. Though I do, I have been known to run to not face things. I mean, you know this because I've worked with you for the last 20 years. So,
I'm a counselor.
yeah, we'll work with you in that way, and then in our organizational capacity as
Yes.
well. So, yeah. So, but I'm more aware now, and I think that's the good thing is like these things are all important to be aware of as our own weaknesses or things to look out for, because if we do, then we can change how we relate to ourselves. Like if I stop doing those things, then I can become more trusting of myself, and in that way more trusting of other people, and just a more solid person in everything that I'm doing. So that's my goal. That's what I'm working on. But
Well, what do you think is facing you right now that you don't want to face?
I'd say the biggest thing is just getting older. I mean, I'm not that old. I'm 60, but I don't have the same, the same energy and vitality and, just all the things that kind of made me what I thought me was. I mean, I still have a lot of energy and vitality, but I don't like, my skin sagging and those kind of things. But those aren't really challenges. They're challenges in my, perception. They aren't really.
Those are challenges to the ego. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't like the way this looks versus I have Parkinson's and I'm struggling to.
Yeah, fortunately, I don't have any of those kinds of things that I'm aware of. I don't have any physical things that are, concerning me or challenges. I'd say the other big challenge is just what to do about what you talked about, the whole environment, the social environment that we're facing right now. And I mean, I'm fortunate that I'm with you guys. We're part of our little posse group.
It's
so
called
great.
the stream.info. We're a nonprofit organization called The Stream.
Yes.
And we are trying to build a better world based on oneness, accountability and mutual support. That's our spiritual foundation. So I just wanted to explain what.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. And that's really good because I have support to address these kinds of things when they happen for me. And I wish everyone had that. I wish everyone had a support group that they were a part of. That, I mean, I know people have friends, but it's great to be a part of a group that has a similar philosophy outlook and is not going to back down. So I'd say that's for me. That's the challenge that I'm facing, but I don't feel like it's insurmountable or too daunting because I have all of you.
Yeah. And all of those other people around the US. It's
Mhm.
really incredible. People are protesting or fighting back or doing all kinds of things and very creative things. So we aren't alone. And if there is anybody out there like you're referring to, and this is such a good point, who is feeling overwhelmed and doesn't have support, go get some. There are plenty of organizations. Maybe your local church, for example, is doing something about this horrendous treatment of immigrants, legal and undocumented. Maybe it's being in an organization like Our Revolution with Bernie Sanders or Indivisible or the Democratic Party or Never Trumpers or whoever, whatever. Um, there are people out there, and that's one of the things. If you don't fall apart, you say, well, what can I do? Where can I? And then one of the questions is, where can I get the support that I need? Oh, I'm noticing that I'm bleeding profusely from my abdomen. Well, maybe you should go to the doctor. Oh no, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So this is a very important point that you're raising, Todd, which is one of the things that we can do. We say we're stronger. I am stronger than I think, but we collectively are stronger than I think. And therefore, I need to go and look for the collective, look for the support. If I don't like doctors and they can't help me, well, then I can look for alternative things that I can do. Or I have to be in acceptance of where this is going, like aging. To a degree, we can accept it, and to a degree, we can try to keep exercising or do whatever we can, unless we're totally disabled, which happens. So we have to keep evaluating what is possible and go after, do what is possible rather than throw your hands up in despair or try to power over it and like, oh no, I'm fine. I can still walk 10 miles a day as you pant towards the finish line and have a heart attack. So, which is the Todd Benton way that you were just describing, Todd. So thank you for that. And by the way, I want to talk about just for a second before we go back to Lizzie. And thank you, Lizzie, for switching out where you are so that we can hear you better. We have something called the new Declaration of Independence. And I think this is something we all can do, is sign this petition that says we are declaring our independence from this government, which is unlawful, immoral, and unconstitutional, right? And declare what we do want. And that's something you can do. Just go to the stream.info and you will see the new Declaration of Independence, and please sign it or pass it along. That's a small thing that you can do, but it raises consciousness. Okay, over to you, Lizzie.
I also think that depending on how I feel is correlated to how connected I feel to myself. I feel the times that when I'm crazy, I am not connected. And it can be easy to get caught up in the news and what's going on. And, I have a strong tendency of worrying about things, worrywart, or focusing on negatives. And, with the support I've gotten here and, the people in this group and you especially, that's really helped me. And doing practices to help me stay connected to myself, I do feel stronger. And I feel much less overwhelmed. It's helpful also if I have something going on in my life that might be a big change that's kind of diverting my attention.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to deter me from getting back to, okay, what can I do in the moment, or what today can I do, or things of that nature. So yeah, that could be one way to avoid things is, oh, I'm going to get busy doing something else, or I don't have time to look at that right now.
Right.
And
Right.
it's like, okay, we could have a government that is, we do have a government that's trying to be a dictator. And do we want this permanently? If not, then I'd better make some time to do some sort of fighting for something.
Well, you have made some terrific points too tonight, Lizzie. And I think that sometimes getting yourself distracted is a good thing. I mean, we have to calm ourselves down. And so play with the dog,
Yeah,
go take a walk. And I know that isn't what you meant. So I just
right.
wanted to pick up on that point and say, hey, we need something happy, satisfying, positive, so we don't only get overwhelmed by all the negative things that are happening. There are good things that, there's still love in the world, and some, at least in some places, there's still love in the world. And we have our creativity, or whatever it is, our friendships, and that's important. And that helps to calm our nervous systems. And when we calm our nervous systems, Todd, we become way more intelligent. No, it's easier to determine what I can do, what I can't do, what I should get support on, and so on. And it's when you calm your nervous system, James, you're not trying to pretend, that you really can pass all of these people without making yourself stressed out. And so that's such an important thing, is how we have to keep calming ourselves. And this is the fascinating challenge of our day. We have to calm ourselves and face the challenges at the same time. And that's true for everybody in every situation. If you say, oh my God, I'm becoming cognitively impaired, and then, well, you're going to be more impaired, because when you're nervous and anxious, your brain doesn't work so good, Or, oh, I'm noticing that I'm having physical problems, or I think I might actually be dying, or whatever it is. So we have to calm ourselves, calm our nervous systems, in order to truly face the challenges that seem unthinkable. And I love what you said too, Lizzie, about being connected to yourself, because that is crucial, as well as being connected to others, to connect to yourself. And if you find that you're running away, or you're getting hysterical and avoiding, you need to connect to others, and you need to connect to yourself to find that strength. I love what you said. I'm so glad that that works for you. So I'm going to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, um, if you're on YouTube, and to follow our Facebook page. And please be on our public Facebook page, because that's where you can follow us, and also if you put in a comment, I will see it if you're on our public Facebook page. And please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and a love or a like on Facebook. And we are here every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time with Lighting the Way with Beth Green and friends. And we talk about everything. And we try to talk about things from the inside out, not just about what's going on out there, but also what's going on in here. Things that these are often patterns that we are dealing with, that are with us always, and that we have to deal with ourselves all the time, regardless of what's going on in the political situation, right? And we have to look at ourselves, and self-awareness is so key. And this is really a call to us to increase our self-awareness as to how we are reacting to whatever the challenges are that we're facing, and what we could do differently or better with self-love and compassion for ourselves. Because sometimes we just can't do any better, and sometimes we can. So please come back next Wednesday at 6:30. And by the way, tomorrow which is Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, James and I do magical improvs where we play music spontaneously and we play on themes and we build our courage and our love and we have fun and when we have audience participation, it's really great because the audience can say, "Hey, can you improvise to the turtle walk?" And whatever that is. I just made that up. Anyway, so we love you. We really appreciate our audience. And please leave your comments if you come on and watch this show later. I would love to hear from you as to what challenges you're facing that you feel like you can't face and what you may have gained from this show to help you to face them. So we love you. Thank you so much for joining us. And here we go for the final. There we go.